You can't be serious about being tough on crime if you're not willing to be tough on guns.
I'm gonna go steal some furniture for Julian, and I know just the place. The people are stupid, and they got the best furniture.
Government buildings are so easy to rob. You can walk in here in broad daylight and take everything, and no one even says anything.
Welcome to Canada, where crime goes unpunished and the taxpayer foots the bill. Welcome to the channel. If you could, please hit that like button. It really helps get the video out. And if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Crime is out of control in Canada and the Liberals don't seem to care.
You know, the other day we had a judge who said, well, this individual is a non-Canadian, and if they get a high conviction, they'll be deported from the country. Well, that's what we want. If someone commits a crime when they're here as a visitor, we want them to do a sentence in prison and then get the hell out of Canada. We don't want to keep criminals in our streets. We don't want to invite criminals to our country. Every single criminal who visits our country and is a non-Canadian should be quickly deported from our country. The Liberals, under Mark Carney, have lost track of 600 convicted criminals who are wandering our streets committing even more crime. These are not even Canadian citizens. We need to bring back an immigration system that brings in only the right people in the right numbers. People who lawfully enter our country and follow all the rules are welcome to contribute, but only in the numbers we can absorb, and only law-abiding, hardworking people need to be allowed into our country.
I completely agree with Pierre on this. Any crimes, besides small things like traffic violations, we're not talking about that. They need to be punished and then deported. These are not the people we want or need in the country, but the Liberals only seem to care about bringing more people in. This incompetent government has lost track of 600 convicted criminals. I think it's safe to say they're not wandering the streets in their neighborhoods. Now, with all the problems that come from crime, we shouldn't have to worry about defending ourselves in our homes. But this is Canada, where self-defense may make you a criminal.
To a case stirring controversy in Ontario's cottage country. The Kawartha Lakes Police Service is facing criticism for its decision to charge a homeowner with the assault of an intruder.
Something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family.
Officers say a 44-year-old homeowner, Jeremy McDonald, was awoken by an intruder in his Lindsay apartment. There was an altercation, and the intruder was rushed to hospital with serious, life-threatening injuries, then airlifted to Toronto for care. Police charged the homeowner with aggravated assault and assault with a weapon, a knife.
Now, what was left of the story, from what I heard, is that the intruder had a crossbow and had attacked the man. He defended himself with a kitchen knife, and that's why he was charged. I myself don't see any issue with what he did. I think this guy should get an award. The police should be thanking him for doing their job. Now, why we might be getting this rise in crime here in Canada?
We're learning of government figures that show thousands of foreigners' criminal convictions have been forgiven, allowing them to enter the country through work and study visas, permanent residency, or visitors. Well, from 2013 to 2024, more than 17,000 had their criminal convictions forgiven. This raises some questions about why the federal government chose to do so and what that means. So here with a closer look at this is Chantal Deloge. She's an immigration and refugee lawyer and regular guest of this program. Good to have you back.
Thank you very much.
So explain, first of all, if people hear the term forgiven, it is very different than a pardon. Explain why forgiven is used in this context.
Yeah, well, what that means is that immigration, once you're declared rehabilitated, that's the term, they overlook the legal consequences of that for purposes of entry to Canada. So your record is still there. The officers will still know about it. It forms part of your background. It's not erased, but it means that you become admissible to Canada.
These should be the first people we reject from coming to Canada. Whatever crime it is, big or small, instantly not welcome. Cross their names off the list. I don't agree with mass immigration, but if they are going to force this on us, is it that difficult to bring in people without criminal convictions? And if so, why?
These are not only crimes, by the way, it's any violation of federal law. I had to do an application like this one time for a guy who was convicted of hunting ducks out of season. And that was
and that
enough.
shows up as a crime or an offense.
Yes, that's right. And he actually had to be declared rehabilitated in order to be able to come back to Canada again. And the vast majority of these offenses are pretty minor. I mean, when you hear these terms like foreign criminals, it sounds very scary. But in fact, usually it's Aunt Betty from Australia who had one too many mimosas at a brunch and got pulled over, or, you know, somebody that had possession of one joint or something like that. The vast majority are like that.
So no problem. They're just letting in rogue duck hunters. I love how they try to justify it, but I'm hearing a man with a gun that can't follow basic hunting rules. These aren't the type of people we should be welcoming into Canada. The Liberal government is not taking the safety of its citizens seriously, while they have personal security and are protected by law enforcement. Cleaning up the crime isn't as difficult as it may seem.
So let's talk about what's happening with the crackdown in D.C. crime. And we see the huge presence of the National Guard. 4 or 5 states have put their National Guard members into the more high-trafficked areas, allowing the cops to go into the more challenging areas and make some big-time arrests. Look at these totals.
Yeah, look at the numbers. Over 910 total arrests. This is just since August 7th. 5 known gang members, MS-13 members, 101 firearms have been seized and taken off the streets. 49 homeless encampments have been cleared away.
Apparently, it's as easy as sending in the law enforcement and then enforcing the laws. This concept may be difficult for Liberals to understand, but it seems to work extremely well when practiced. For some reason, the left just doesn't want to get on board.
And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is very upset about this.
Why? Why would he be upset?
Because he's worried about tyranny, he says. And so all the talk of Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago. And this is what he had to say.
Well, again, you know, the city of Chicago does not need a military occupied state. That's not who we are. Here's the bottom line. They don't have police power. There's nothing they can do. You know, these are federal troops. They do not go through the training that our police officers go through, so they cannot even enact police authority. We're not going to surrender our humanity to this tyrant. I can tell you this, the city of Chicago has a long history of standing up against tyranny, resisting those who wish to undermine the interests of working people. We're not going to back down. We're not going to cower. We're not going to bend. We're not going to break. We are Chicago. We are the soul of America, and we will maintain that posture from now until.
The Chicago mayor is a great example of why DEI hiring is a bad idea. This man is actually fighting for criminals. Chicago's crime rate, the crime where the person doesn't survive, was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City in 2024. And this guy's doing nothing about it. So Trump is coming in like he did in DC and cleaning house. I'm going to end the video here and ask you to hit that like button. It really helps the video out with the algorithm, and please consider subscribing. I make a new video every day and they will only get better. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Elbows up. Elbows up.
Elbows down.